Welcome to the Flora Sage Podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Hey everyone, so today we are going to talk about giving yourself some grace. I just got off the phone with a client of mine and she was just feeling really deflated, saying, God, I've got so much stuff to do for work and for just my personal life, and I just can't seem to focus. I feel so scattered all the time. I've been trying to find balance and all this other stuff, and it's just not working. I need help. So I looked at all of the stuff that she had going on. I had her kind of listed out and I wrote it out on a piece of paper so I could see it for myself. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's no wonder that you're feeling overwhelmed because you do have a lot of stuff going on. You've got a lot for your work. She's a manager at a local big box store and she's got a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. And so we reevaluated her phase. And I know that I talk about this all the time, but it's so important to know what phase of life that you're in, because if you think that you're in one phase and you're not, you're really in another phase, then we think that our priorities should be one thing when they're actually something else. And so right now she's just really in maintenance mode for her life. She's not really in a phase of big, huge changes or big transitions. She's just really in that maintenance mode. So when we looked at her to-do list, I asked her, I said, well, what of these things is the most urgent that actually has a due date from someone else? And she's like, oh, like XYZ. So we marked those as urgent. And I'm like, all right, cool. So what are the ones that you feel are the most urgent? And she's like, oh, well, these 3 things. And she's like, okay. And when she looked at those 6 things, so those 3 things that she feels are the most urgent for her, and then those 3 that actually have due dates from someone else, she's like, I feel conflicted because I don't want to do the things that actually have a due date from somebody else because I'm feeling this resistance. And I'm like, okay, so let's just sit with this and let's just unpack this resistance. And I encourage you to look at what you have going on in your life. What pressure are you experiencing? What time pressure? And is it from you or is it from someone else? And if it's from someone else, what is that time pressure? What is that due date of something? Is it a bill? Is it, a birthday card for someone? Is it, signing this or doing that? Is it a legal thing? Is it not a legal thing? Like, look at what it is. And, in my previous episode, we looked at doing a brain dump. And this brain dump is so priceless. It truly is priceless because you give yourself permission to just get it all out of your head. And so these are all the things that are taking up space in my head and taking up energy. And then you really look at what are those top stressors? What are those top things that I know I need to focus on? And when you have things that have a due date or a deadline from someone else, honor that, especially if it's something very important that if you miss the due date, you miss a big opportunity. And look at the pressure that you're feeling around those particular things and what it means to procrastinate, what it means to not do it. And then you can also ask yourself, how much time is this actually going to take me to do this? So I recently needed to write a letter in support of something, and I kept putting it off. And finally, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to set my timer for 25 minutes and I'm going to sit and I'm going to do it. And I did it, and it actually took me 18 minutes and 42 seconds. I know, because I set my timer and I was like, oh, nice. So it took me so much less time to do that thing than I thought it was going to take me. And this is one of the things that I recommend to like literally everybody on the planet who has a to-do list. Don't just write a to-do list. Write down how long you think that thing might take you. And if you don't know, time yourself. So the next time you have to do that thing, you know generally about how long it's going to take you to do that particular thing, whether it's sweeping the floor, cleaning the toilet, writing a letter to someone, running an errand. Just do it. Just give yourself permission to time yourself. You might feel silly the first couple of times, but when you see exactly how long it takes you to do something, you're going to be like, really? I can't believe that I put this off for so long and it only took me 15 minutes to do this. Wow. So another thing that I want to share with you today is you are only one person. You are only one person. And if you feel like you have so much on your plate that you're feeling overwhelmed and you begin to shut down, use this as an opportunity to ask for help. Ask for help from the people in your life that care for you, that love you, that support you. And say, hey, listen, I have to go grocery shopping today. I really don't want to. If I order the groceries, would you pick them up at 6 o'clock tonight? Someone might say, oh yeah, sure, I'll be passing through. Perfect. So today, I would encourage you to recognize where you're feeling overwhelmed, where you feel like you're dropping the ball, where you feel like you have this time pressure, where you feel like you are less than, and you're just like, why can't I just sit and do this? Why can't I just focus? Why can't I just concentrate? Well, there's a lot that go into doing something. There's all the things that we do in our work life, whether you work for yourself or somebody else. There's a lot that you have on your plate in your personal life, like all the household chores, all the errands, all the other things that you have to do. And plus, there is our downtime, our pleasure time, our time to unwind. And so often I see women especially not take time for themselves, not take that downtime and use it to recharge and rejuvenate themselves. Instead, they have 1 hour of free time. What do? They do chores. They do that task that they've been waiting to do. Or on the flip side, they'll numb out and they'll, jump into TikTok, and then all of a sudden an hour's gone, and then they're like, damn it, I should have did this or I should have did that. We start judging ourselves. So recognize that you're just one person. And also recognize too that you are in charge of how you spend and how you invest your time. I've got another podcast about that as well. So today, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling frustrated by your lack of focus, do that brain dump like we talked about earlier. Do that brain dump and identify those top 10 stressors and then narrow it down to your top one. Or write down your top list of things that you have to get done, want to get done, and ask yourself, do any of these have a definitive time stamp in which they have to be completed or they have to be finished? If so, write that down. This needs to be done by April 4th. And this needs to be done by January 13th. This needs to be done by December 21st. This needs to be done by August 11th. Whatever date, write that date down that come hell or high water, it has to be completed by. Okay? Then say, what support do I need to achieve this goal? Do I need just moral support from someone? If so, reach out to your coach. Reach out to a trusted friend or advisor or mentor. Reach out to your partner and say, hey, I need you to keep me accountable to finish this. Okay? And then after you look at that and say, okay, who is in my corner? Who can support me? Then say, okay, so do I have everything that I need to complete this task? And if not, seek out those other things that you need in order to complete that task. Okay, so let's just say that you have to trim your bushes, otherwise you're going to get a letter from your HOA, but you don't have a tree trimmer and you don't feel like hiring someone, but you know the guy down the block has a tree trimmer. Okay, cool. Maybe you can go ask him, hey, can I borrow your tree trimmer to, trim my shrubs or whatever? And they might be like, oh yeah, sure, cool. Or hey, I'll give you $20 if you help me out. I will be here, whatever it is. But ask yourself, do I have a support system to help me? And do I have everything that I need in order to complete this task? And if so, then pencil it in your schedule. Make a date and time with yourself to do it. And if you're not doing anything after you're done listening to this, take that one thing that's been bothering you and just sit down and just do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. It comes down to us just sitting down and just doing that thing. Even though we might not enjoy it, even though it might make us uncomfortable. But if it's a task that you know you cannot keep putting off, and you know that you just need to complete it right now, and just whenever, as soon as you can, then just sit down and just do it. Just do it, okay? Like a lot of people right now are in the middle of doing taxes. A lot of people do not like doing taxes at all because it's kind of big, it's kind of scary. Do you have the means to go to H&R Block or Jackson Hewlett or some of the other tax prep places? Call them. Ask them how much it is if you don't know. How much is it to prepare taxes? Many times they'll take it out of your return, so you don't even take any out of your pocket. So many times we fear what we don't know. Okay? And they'll be able to tell you exactly what to bring for them to do it for you. Boom, problem solved. You can make an appointment, you show up with all of your documents, you get it done. There's also TurboTax online. This is not a sponsored ad. There's also TurboTax. You can do it yourself. It makes it very simple. They walk you through the entire process. But whatever it is, whether it's taxes, whether it's home improvement stuff, whether it's having a challenging conversation with someone, whatever it is, give yourself permission to look at the support system that you have, look at everything that you need to have in place in order to complete that particular task. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, you just got to sit down and do it. You really just have to say, how am I going to feel when this is done? When I don't have to think about it anymore? And that's the energy that I want you to channel while you are doing this. How am I going to feel once this task and this to-do that I cannot avoid, how am I going to feel when this is completed? And that's the energy that I want you to embody and hold while you are doing that thing. I know you can do this. I know you can. Okay? All right. I hope this message serves you. I know sometimes it gets very overwhelming when we have all these to-dos hanging over us. But I know that you are so determined. Those are the people that follow me. Like people that have that drive and that zest for life are the ones that follow me. You guys are amazing. You truly are. Like I get messages from you guys all the time saying, oh my God, this helped me so much. This helped me do this and this helped me do that. You guys are not lazy. You might be, a little more on the chill side because I'm very chill, but you very much are driven by accomplishment. You're very much driven by things that truly matter to you. And sometimes we can't see the big picture when it comes to these little tasks. It's just kind of an annoyance, like, I need to do this or I need to do that. Again, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on how it's going to feel when we're finished. How is this going to feel when I'm done with this particular thing? and give yourself permission to just do it. And I promise you, it will take much less time than you anticipate. Okay? I hope this serves you today. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. If you've been loving these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you would rate this podcast on iTunes. A 5-star rating is what I always aim for. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.